stop. Before you book your next trip, you need to know something. Every year, millions of tourists lose thousands of dollars while traveling, not because they were unlucky, but because they made simple mistakes that scammers, airlines, and even hotels secretly depend on. And today, we're exposing 10 travel mistakes that could destroy your entire travel budget. If you travel even once a year, this video could save you thousands. Let's begin. Travel is supposed to be exciting. The planning, the anticipation, the moment your plane finally lands in a new country. For many people, travel is the reward after months or years of hard work. But what most tourists don't realize is that traveling also exposes them to a completely different world of risks. Airlines charging hidden fees, scammers targeting tourists, hotels manipulating prices, and simple mistakes that silently drain money from your wallet. Some travelers lose a few $100s, others lose thousands. And the worst part? Most of these losses are completely avoidable, if you know what to watch for. So before your next trip, make sure you understand these 10 travel mistakes that cost tourists thousands, because once you know them, you'll travel smarter than most people at the airport. Mistake number 1. Booking flights too late. One of the most expensive travel mistakes happens before the trip even begins. Booking flights at the wrong time. Many travelers wait until the last moment to buy tickets. They assume prices will stay the same. But airline pricing systems constantly change based on demand. A flight that costs $500 today could become $900 next week. Airlines analyze booking patterns using advanced algorithms. If demand increases, prices rise automatically. This is why experienced travelers rarely buy tickets at the last minute. Instead, they monitor prices for weeks. Many also use flight tracking tools like Google Flights or Skyscanner. These platforms allow travelers to monitor price changes and find the cheapest booking window. For international flights, experts often recommend booking 2 to 3 months in advance, because waiting too long can double the cost of your trip before it even begins. Mistake number 2. Ignoring travel. Insurance. Travel insurance is one of the most misunderstood parts of traveling. Many tourists see it as an unnecessary extra expense, but experienced travelers know the truth. Travel insurance isn't about convenience, it's about protection against disasters. Imagine arriving in a new country and suddenly needing medical care. In countries like the United States, hospital visits can cost thousands of dollars. Even something simple like a broken arm could cost $3,000 or more. Without insurance, you must pay every cent yourself. But medical emergencies are only one risk. Flights get canceled, luggage disappears, trips get interrupted. Travel insurance protects you from these situations, and the price is surprisingly small compared to the risk, often less than the cost of a restaurant dinner. Yet skipping it has cost many travelers their entire travel budget. Mistake number 3. Exchanging money at the airport. Almost every tourist makes this mistake at least once. They land in a new country and immediately exchange money at the airport. It feels easy, convenient, and fast. But airport exchange counters often offer the worst exchange rates possible. Sometimes travelers lose 10% or more during the transaction. This means exchanging $1,000 could instantly lose $100. And most travelers never notice, because the difference is hidden inside the rate itself. Smart travelers avoid this trap. Instead, they withdraw money from bank ATMs or pay using international cards from companies like Visa or MasterCard. These usually provide exchange rates much closer to the real market value. And over the course of a trip, those small differences can save hundreds of dollars. Mistake number 4. Taking unofficial airport taxis. Airports are one of the most common places where tourists get scammed. After long flights, travelers are tired and confused. This makes them easy targets. Unofficial taxi drivers often wait outside terminals looking for tourists. They offer rides that seem legitimate. But once the trip begins, the problems start. The meter runs too fast, or the meter is turned off completely. Sometimes drivers claim the ride costs 3 or 4 times the normal price. This happens frequently in tourist cities like Paris, Rome, and Bangkok. Experienced travelers avoid this situation entirely. They use ride-sharing apps like Uber or Bolt because the price is displayed clearly before the ride begins, and that transparency prevents expensive surprises. Mistake number 5. Booking cheap hotels in bad locations. Finding cheap accommodation feels like a victory. But sometimes, cheap hotels come with hidden costs. Many budget hotels are located far from major attractions. At first, the price looks great, but transportation becomes expensive. Taxis, metro tickets, ride-share rides. By the end of the trip, the transportation costs may exceed the savings from the cheap hotel. And time is lost too. Instead of exploring the city, travelers spend hours commuting. The smarter strategy is balancing price and location. Sometimes paying slightly more for a central hotel saves both money and time. Mistake number 6. Hidden airline fees. Low-cost airlines advertise extremely cheap tickets, sometimes unbelievably cheap. But these prices often hide extra fees. Passengers may pay additional charges for carry-on luggage, checked bags, seat selection, priority boarding, even printing boarding passes. Airlines such as Ryanair and Spirit Airlines built entire business models around these extra charges. A ticket that starts at $80 may eventually cost $250 or more, which is why experienced travelers always check the total final price before booking. Mistake number 7. Overpacking packing. Too much luggage creates multiple problems. First, airlines charge heavy overweight baggage fees, sometimes over $100 at the airport. Second, heavy luggage slows down travel. Dragging large suitcases through train stations and city streets becomes exhausting. Frequent travelers follow a simple rule: pack light and bring versatile clothing. Most items can be washed or purchased during the trip. Mistake number 8. Not informing your bank. Banks constantly monitor suspicious transactions. When your card suddenly appears in another country, the bank may block it automatically. This security measure protects against fraud, but it can also leave travelers without access to their money. The solution is simple. Before traveling, notify your bank through their app or website. This tells the system your international purchases are legitimate. A small step that can prevent major frustration. Mistake number 9. Ignoring local laws. Tourists sometimes assume small rules don't matter, but in some countries, they matter a lot. In Singapore, littering can result in heavy fines. In Venice, sitting on historic monuments is prohibited. Violations can cost hundreds of dollars, and authorities rarely make exceptions for tourists. Researching local rules before traveling is simple, but ignoring them can be surprisingly expensive. Mistake number 10. Trusting strangers. Too quickly, tourists often appear friendly and relaxed, which makes them ideal targets for scams. Some criminals pretend to offer help. Others distract tourists while an accomplice steals wallets. Cities like Barcelona and Prague are famous for sophisticated pickpocketing operations. The safest approach is simple. Stay aware of your surroundings, be polite, but remain cautious with strangers offering unsolicited help. Travel is one of the greatest experiences life offers. It introduces us to new cultures, new people, and unforgettable memories. But the difference between a perfect trip and a financial disaster often comes down to simple decisions. Avoid these mistakes, and you'll travel smarter than millions of tourists every year. Because the best travelers don't just explore the world, they understand how the world works. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Every traveler has at least one story they wish never happened. Maybe a taxi driver charged you 5 times the real price. Maybe you booked a hotel that looked amazing online, but was a complete disaster in real life. Or maybe a simple mistake during your trip ended up costing you far more money than you expected. So I'm really curious. What is the most expensive mistake you've ever made while traveling? Was it a scam, a bad booking, or something completely unexpected? Tell your story in the comments. Not only is it interesting to read, but your experience might actually help another traveler avoid the same mistake on their next trip. And who knows? Your story might even be featured in the next video.